Oh howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion, and time for a little bit of a gamble with one of the new divination cards. So the Forgotten Treasure was added in 3.16 with no prior announcements, so it wasn't in the patch notes, wasn't announced in the lead up to the league, and it's a divination card that can, but probably won't, give a Headhunter. So this is a divination card that gives you a unique leather belt, which is double influenced. According to the way that other divination cards like this work, it will respect the relative weightings of these items. So that means that you'll usually get a really cool shiny looking Wurm's Molt. You can also get an Immortal Flesh, which is pretty common, a Pyroshot Clasp, which is quite a bit less common, and I think there's a couple of others, but of course there's also the Headhunter Jackpot. So at the time I'm recording this video, these have been trading for 2C, a card. I don't think they're going to stay there. It's the sort of card that tends to get expensive as the league gets older. So our first one is an Immortal Flesh, and it has the Crusader influence and the Redeemer influence, which just looks cool. It doesn't actually do anything in most cases. It's more relevant if you get a Headhunter, because a Headhunter will look really, really shiny and cool, but also will have synergies with the unique item Eternity Shroud, if you get a Shaper one, and with a couple of Elder influenced items. That's really interesting. These have exactly the same influence as each other. They don't have exactly the same stats, but they look sort of like it at first. Anyways, let's try a third one. Hey, it's a Wurm's Molt. I thought we'd get a Wurm's Molt somewhere along the line. So let's go with the fourth one. Hey, it's a Wurm's Molt. Who would have thought we'd get a Wurm's Molt? That is the most common outcome. Hey, it's an Immortal Flesh again, the second most common. And last we have our Wurm's Molt. So I got a whole bunch of rocks here, but they are pretty rocks and they'll look cool at least. So that's sort of 72C down the drain. Quite a bit early in the league, but nothing unmanageable, nothing I can't recover from. And at least I've got a couple of funny looking toys to play around with. I was kind of hoping to get a Pyroshot Clasp out of it, just something that looked cool, although it would be hard to compete with the good rolls on this one. Okay, so that's the new divination card, the Forgotten Treasure, and it's one that will be a lot of fun when we can get a lot more copies of it. I do expect, though, that this card will be quite a bit more expensive later in the league, as players love to gamble on these cards. It does look pretty rare. And if you've got any leads on where it drops, let me know. Everyone that I've spoken to has said that they got theirs from Heist or a stacked deck, but that doesn't mean that that's the only places it can drop. It probably does have a home somewhere. May your Varlorbs have interesting results.